data is all about.
Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on BloombergQuint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is the show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I am Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our guest on the show, Brijesh Singh of StockAxis, Nilesh Jain of Anand, Rathi, and Raja Venkatraman of Chart Advice joins me on the show. Many thanks to all of my guests for joining me. Before we begin with the show with our analyst, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on Ujjivan this time around. Good afternoon, Yash. What does the chart indicate?
Something to watch out for in terms of on the short side for Ujjivan, because this is the daily chart of Ujjivan over the last 1 year period, and we've basically used the Fibonacci retracement for the purpose of analysis. Now what we've done is that we've taken the high of 370 and the low of 252. Now the 61.8% retracement of this comes exactly around the mark of 326, which is where the stock has been struggling for the last several trading sessions. In fact, in today's day of trade, it has formed a candlestick pattern which is generally called as a shooting star, wherein you have a large upper shadow and a small real body of the candle, which is generally a negative one. The RSI too has given a negative divergence. So if you could zoom the RSI, what we've seen is that the second time that the stock is trading close to around the mark of 320, the RSI has in fact made a lower high. So it made a high around the mark of 65, and now again at the same price level, the RSI has made a lower high, which is generally a bearish indicator. Now this is as far as the action is on the daily time frame. On the weekly time frame too, there is further indication that there could be weakness, because at the mark where it is currently trading, it is being met with significant amount of resistance, because the pink line over here, that is the 200 week exponential moving average, and that is placed around the mark of 318. It has failed to breach that mark in the past few trading sessions, and again the RSI making a lower high, which is another indicator of bearishness. So watch out for all of these factors for Ujjivan finance.
Okay, thanks so much for that decisive analysis on Ujjivan. Brijesh, I'll start with you. Ujjivan, what's your sense on the counter?
Siddharsha, no doubt what Yash has said is absolutely right. Somewhere around 325, 326 has been a resistance zone. But if we check it out, the weekly charts, still the chart has been trading with the higher lows formation, which indicates the buying would be coming. So present rate, if someone wants to go short, I would be suggesting risk reward ratio not in your favor, but any rise somewhere around 317, 318, one can go short with the stop loss of 328 and look for the target of 302 or say 300. But till stock doesn't give closing below 280, I would be assuming for a long term, if someone wants to buy, they can buy it. But right now, for short term, definitely it's looking weak. One can go sell.
Okay, so short term target. Nilesh, what's your sense on the counter?
Well, absolutely right. In fact, if you look at the structure on the daily chart, it indicates some sort of a weakness that could be on the chart. But at the same time, if it even breaks on a higher side 325 level, then we may see a breakout coming in. Then the target will come somewhere close to 340 as well. So with the stop loss of 325, yes, one can definitely go short. On the downside, the immediate target that we are expecting is of 305 to 300.
Okay, and Raja?
Yeah, on the higher time frames, actually, I am witnessing a nice support being formed around the 280 zone. And from there on, the stock has steadily made an upward traction. Yes, at higher levels, like Yash pointed out, there are resistances. But then looking at the overall momentum setup, I do feel that these resistances shall be overcome. So if it moves about 325, it's a good play to move around 400. And the momentum oscillators will also kick in. So it's a good potential opportunity for investing rather than for doing a short-term trade.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the first stock, and that is Ujjivan. Overall, I think analysts do indicate that at lower levels there will be support level that's coming in for Ujjivan, but at least for the short term, there could be some bit of weakness. Let's begin with the first round of chart. Brijesh Singh has a chart on Federal Bank this time around. Let's pull up the chart. Brijesh, we can come in. Always manages to find resistance at 100. What's your action? What are you recommending on this?
See, Darshan, the first point why I've taken the weekly chart, because from a weekly chart, if we check it out, the stock had been, made a high of 127, and after that we have seen a correction to the level of 167 or 68 around. Now, if we check it out, this low followed by this low and followed by this low, they are the higher lows formation, which indicates the bullishness. No doubt what you have said, somewhere around 100, there might be a resistance zone. Now, if you check it out, the stock has been trading these two lines, which I have used as a 21-day simple moving average and 50-day simple moving. It's been trading above this this line, or it's been trading in this zone. In this zone. Second thing, if we check it out, if we draw Fibonacci retracement, the stock has surpassed the 38.2% retracement, followed by 50% retracement. Might be crossing that thing. So overall trend is still been positive. Now, if we check it out, the MACD indicator. Now, if I take the MACD indicator, my generally indication is the histograms. If you check it out, the histograms, they are making the lower highs formation, which indicates the strength would be coming up.
Okay.
And chances are that in near term, the stock might be surpassing the level of the 100 mark. What you have said might be the resistance. So I'm looking stock, if it trades somewhere around 91 to 93 band, one can go long with the stop loss of 83. And play for the target of the previous swing high, that is somewhere around 103 or 104, and the next level to watch would be 110.
Okay.
So time frame for this counter on a buy side to hold would be 1 month to a 2 month.
1 to 2 months. Buy at 94 also, it's at 94?
See, 94, your risk reward ratio would be 1:1, nothing wrong in it. But ideally, if it is trade somewhere around 91 to 93 in this band, definitely one can go long on it.
Okay, thanks so much for that. 1 to 2 months, 1.5 month holding is something that Brijesh has indicated. Nilesh, what's your sense? Would you be a buyer in Federal Bank?
Yes, definitely. Buy on dip should be the ideal strategy, because if you look at the risk and reward, it is not matching. One should wait for some sort of a correction near the levels of 90. That should be the ideal level to enter long position, because the stop loss is coming around somewhere close to 80. On a higher side, 105 and 107, these are the immediate target that we are expecting.
And Raja, what's your sense?
Yeah, I'm in line with them. Federal Bank is a buy, but it's a buy on dips. Rightly, these levels mentioned around 90 would be a good level, because right now it's at resistance. It has come to a good trendline support on the weekly charts as well, and momentum is also playing on the bullish side. So one could look to buy at lower levels with a stop loss below 80 for an upside towards 109 as a target mentioned.
Okay, so I think it's a consensus bullish call that's coming in on Federal Bank, but I think all three of our guests have indicated buy on dips is the ideal strategy to get a better risk reward ratio. But the levels of 105, 110, 120 are the levels that are being spoken about. The next chart is from Nilesh. It's on Reliance Industries. As we speak, probably Reliance is trading at the highest point of the day. Let's see what it is. It's at 1314 currently. But why are you bullish on Reliance?
Well, Darshan, first off, look at the overall trend from past 2 to 3 years. That clearly indicates high top, high bottom formation on the weekly scale. This is a weekly chart. And now, if you look at the first, I want to start with the indicators, the momentum indicator, MACD. Look at the MACD indicator. It has never gone below its.
They'll expand it. Wait, they'll come in. Yeah.
So this is a perfect support level from where we have seen buy crossover coming in. This is a fresh buy crossover that we have seen today. Also, buy crossover above signal line. This is the histogram. And if you look at the overall volume, that is indicating quite potential and accelerating the volume. So that is clear indication that the volume is picking up. The stock is likely to gain the momentum. If you look at the RSI, the second indicator, the momentum, this is showing some sort of a strength from oversold territory. This is the oversold territory. From there, we have seen reversal. That clearly indicates the momentum is also picking up. Also well above the levels of 50, that is the ideal level that indicates the stock is gaining the momentum. Now if you look at the price pattern, this is a classic downward sloping trend line which has broken out in this week. This is the weekly chart. And the second thing is that if you calculate the overall target for this particular pattern, this sort of triangle pattern, we can say that a symmetrical triangle. The target is somewhere coming around 1400 to 1500 as well. But from very conservative perspective, I think the first target that one can look for is 1360 and second would be 1385, and the time frame would be 15 to 20 days.
Okay, is it a positional call? Should one buy at it's at 1310 right now, let's assume that it's at this level. Should one buy at this level, or do you see chances for people getting this at lower levels?
I think the current level would be the ideal level. One can go straightforward long in this particular counter, because the momentum indicator RSI that clearly indicates the momentum is likely to continue in the next week as well. So I think one can buy in a staggered manner, but I would prefer to go long at current level only.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that, Nilesh. Brijesh, what's your sense on Reliance Industries? Are you positive?
See, 110% I am with Nilesh. Previously also we have checked it out, 1305 was been acting as a resistance, and that resistance has been swiftly crossed. Even if we check it out with the MACD indicator on the daily chart, it was been in a negative territory. Now it has come to the positive territory. Trendline breakout has been witnessed. So I'm assuming this rally to continue on the higher side. Ideally, if present rate any dip can be used for accumulation purpose till 1300. Your stop loss would be 1280, and I'm looking at least stock touching 1385 to 1390 band. And if we're surpassing, then chances are that stock is heading for the new 52-week high. So at least 1385 should is the ideal target. Within a month or two, one can look out.
Look, what's the 52-week high for Reliance Industries?
14, if I'm not mistaken, 1417.
1470. Okay, that's it. Raja, would you be, is it a consensus buy?
Yeah,
for
it's
you
a
also?
consensus buy. Around 1300 levels was a resistance which was on radar for past so many weeks. It has now been surpassed, so the momentum is definitely on the bullish side. But I would look to be a buyer on dips towards the region of around 1250, because that way I would have a more favorable risk to reward ratio. Then I'm expecting that the highs around 1417 would definitely be breached, and you could expect a target somewhere in the region of 1550.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Consensus bullish call coming in on Reliance Industries. The next chart is on IndusInd Bank, and that is a call by Raja. He has a buy call on it, but remember the counter has been extremely volatile over the past few days. Why are you looking to buy, recommending a buy on this counter?
Yeah, so this stock has been in a consolidation for last almost 2 months, and then what I find is at the bottom levels, when it started making a bottom formation around 1300, you started observing a divergence on the RSI, and here I have used an MACD, which is, if you can see here, that there have been hardly any bullish signs being seen on the histogram. And now you can see that a strong display of bullishness after a large time. So what it clearly indicates is that at lower levels there has been some buying interest which has emerged, and if you can see it along with the chart, you will see on the, can I see the price alongside?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see here that at these levels I've used a Fibonacci retracement, and at these retracement levels it has managed to surpass it, and also this white line which is seeing here, you can see here that there was a gap region out here. So this gap region was holding these prices once in July. It's once again come to test it here, but then if prices were to move above, considering the overall market scenario, the bullishness can actually take out this zone. So you can actually look to consider this on the buying side.
Okay, 1510. What should buy now? Buy on decline? What?
No, you can buy now, and you can keep a stop loss below 1480 for an upside towards 1625.
1625. And what's the time frame that you're suggesting this for?
Yeah, within the next 20 trading sessions.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Nilesh, what's your sense on IndusInd Bank? Does the chart seem bullish to you?
Yes, absolutely. I'm extremely bullish on this particular counter. In fact, this counter was on my radar. The immediate, if you look at the weekly chart first, it has provided a fresh breakout from its falling wedge pattern. The falling wedge pattern target is coming somewhere close to 1650 to 1700. I think this stock is a perfect buy recommendation for October series. I think this could be the stock of the series for the October. The immediate support or stop loss should be placed below 1420. On the higher side, 1600 to 1650 are the immediate target that we are expecting.
Okay, and Brijesh, are you also bullish?
See, from month of July, stock has not able to surpass this 200 simple moving average. And when I say simple moving average of a 200, it has a more weightage. Generally, even the layman as well as the institution guy follow the 200 simple moving average. Whenever the stock is below this thing, the 200 simple moving, it is in the grip of the bear. Now today or a day or two back, stock has been able to cross this 200 simple moving average. It is fighting with them with this 200 simple moving average. Still, I would be suggesting buy on dip strategy can be there. So 1500 or ideally somewhere around 1485 to 1490 is the ideal level if someone wants to buy, because your risk reward ratio would be in your favor. Keep a stop loss of 1400, and at least I am looking target for 1680. So definitely on the buy side, buy on dips strategy.
Okay, so buy on dips, buy at this level is what Raja said, buy on dips. But I think the consensus call is coming in on the bullish side. Let's begin with the second round of chart. This time around, it's Brijesh, and he has a call on HPCL. The biggest rally has come in as far as BPCL is concerned over the last 1 month. But HPCL, is that also showing signs of reversal?
See, Darshan, I am been recommending this stock long back when the stock was been quoting at 210. My ideal target was somewhere around 350, and stock made a high of 333 or 334, and after that we have seen a profit booking from that. Stock went down all the way to 162, and again it has moved up. Sorry, this is 350 this level. So I have taken this chart. This is the weekly chart. Stock getting corrected from 491 odd level to 160 somewhere around, and Fibonacci retracement somewhere around this 50% retracement comes around this level of 327, 333. First of all, why I am giving this buy call, the trend line breakout has been witnesses. Stock has been trading above simple moving average 20-day and as well as the 50-day simple moving averages. So present rate or any dip somewhere around 300, ideally I'm looking 300 is an ideal level to buy. If it trades below that 300 odd level, your risk reward ratio would be in your favor. So one can look out to buy at 300. Your stop loss would be 275, and ideally I'm looking target somewhere around 360. Okay. This is the first target. If we draw a Fibonacci retracement, 61.8% retracement value comes at around this level. And the second target I'm looking somewhere around 395. If we talk about the MACD indicator, usually I look out MACD indicator histogram. I always look this thing, not the line chart. Even the histogram, if we check it out, it was been trading in the negative territory. Now it has come to the positive territory with the high lows formation. So all this sum up with the volume indicates the momentum for a bullish side would be there in this stocks, and the at least time frame to hold this counter would be a 1 month to a 2 month. 360 can't be ruled out as the first target which I am looking for.
Okay, so 1 to 2 month strategy, and you would buy close to 300.
300. Ideally, your stop loss because your risk reward ratio would be in your favor.
What's
with
the stop loss that you said?
275.
275. Okay, thanks so much for that, Brijesh. Nilesh, what's your sense on HPCL?
Well, the overall structure looks positive, making higher top and higher bottom, but the only major resistance it has, which is placed around 320. If at all it breaks above 320, then I would be a buyer in this particular counter for the upside target of 340. Then the stop loss should be is coming around somewhere close to 300. So as of now, I would advise wait and watch, wait for the breakout level, or there may be another opportunity on the short on the buy on dip opportunity. If at all stock moves in the range of 290 to 300, then again one can go long with the second stop loss of 280.
Okay, Nilesh, among the three oil marketing company, which is looking the strongest? Obviously, we spoke about HPCL. What's your sense on BPCL and IOC? Do they look? Most of them move in tandem, but BPCL has been the strongest. What's your sense on the other two?
I was about to come to that because BPCL has already provided a breakout. That breakout was placed around 400. So I think BPCL is much preferred pick among all the OMCs company, looking quite strong for the upside target of 500 or maybe 520. So BPCL looks much better.
Okay, and Raja, what's your sense on HPCL and the oil marketing companies?
Yeah, HPCL right now on the weekly chart has come to a resistance around 3112. So what I envisage is that you should be a buyer on dips. Momentum is on the positive side, but you could look to buy it on dips. And in comparison with BPCL, BPCL is a much better opportunity, and one should actually go long in BPCL for an upside towards around 500 to 550.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter. The next chart is from Nilesh. It's on Godrej Consumer Products. The stock has been actually beaten down for the last so many sessions, but over the past few trading sessions, it has managed to bounce back. But let's pull up the chart. Which side will it go? So there was this big correction that happened all the way from 1000 close to 600. Now it's managing to rally. Why are you bullish on it?
Well, first we look at the overall chart structure of last 10 years. So this is the first time the stock has corrected more than 30%. Yeah. Otherwise, it has never corrected more than 15 to 20%. So this is the first time the stock is providing opportunity to go long because the correction is quite deeper. And if you look at the overall structure, it has provided breakout from its falling wedge pattern, and the target for the falling wedge pattern is coming around somewhere close to 750 to 800. Well, if you look at the indicators, first I want to start with MACD indicators. So here it has provided a buy crossover and it is in the oversold territory. So whenever the stock goes into the oversold territory, the chances are very high the stock may reverse from the lower levels. If at all stock reverses the trend, target that we are expecting is of 700 or maybe 750. The second indicator that I've used is of RSI. That is a momentum indicator. That is also showing strength above 50. So whenever RSI moves above 50, that shows the stock is gaining the momentum. Now, if you look at the price structure, it has although provided a breakout. I would suggest one should wait for some sort of a correction because this particular candle is of last week. So there could be possibility the stock may come towards the levels of 670 to 680. So that is the ideal range to go long for the upside target of let's say 730 and 745. So these are the two targets that we are expecting on higher side. The stop loss one can keep of 640.
640. Should they buy at 690 right now?
No, I would suggest better to wait for some sort of a correction or profit booking, which is very much likely. The range for buying should be 670 to 680.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Raja, what's your sense on Godrej Consumer?
Yeah, the overall setup is positive, but right now I'm noticing some resistances around the 730 mark, which it has hit recently. So I would not be a buyer in Godrej CP at the moment, but then I would watch it for some declines and then I would track it. So it's an avoid for me right now.
Avoid. And what's your sense, Brijesh?
See, Darshan, the stock right now on a weekly chart is in the process of making a doji, and which indicates the reversal. The doji has been formed on the higher sides. No doubt, weekly, the daily charts are still promising, but present rate at 689, I would be avoiding because the risk-reward ratio is not in your favor. If it trades somewhere around 670 or below, definitely one can go long with the stop loss of 620 and play for the target of 740 to 750. But at this juncture, I would be avoiding. But buy on dips, definitely can't rule it out.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Godrej Consumer. The last chart, at least from our analyst, before we go back to Yash, is a chart on Container Corp, and that's by Raja. No doubt, like BPCL, there have been a lot of noises talking about the divestment of Container Corp, and you can see the big move that's come in. Raja, you see the move continue?
Yeah. So the reason being that it's almost more than almost 1.5 years, the whole stock has been moving in a channel formation. And you can see the momentum indicators too, they have just been trying to show some recovery, but the recovery has not been clearly witnessed. However, the breakout which we are seeing on the prices is a strong breakout, and the breakout has been with some decent volumes. You can see here the steady rise which has been seen is now witnessing a strong breakout here, and this breakout is expected to continue. And the channel target is the first target is coming somewhere in the region of 675. So one can actually look to trade this channel, as the momentum is also expected to pick up, and the overall setup just suggests that we could expect some more upside in the coming weeks.
What's the ideal strategy? Buy now, buy at lower levels?
You could buy now, and also add somewhere to the region of around 590 to 595. Place a stop loss below 580 for an upside towards 675.
675, and this could come in quick time since that it has broken out quite decisively.
No, but this stock is not having that nature of moving so swiftly. So you could expect the target in somewhere in the region of 15 to 18 trading sessions.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Raja. Nilesh, what's your sense on Container Corp?
Well, the stock is extremely looking positive on the chart. It has provided a breakout of its 4-year consolidation. So 4-year consolidation, the target that are coming is somewhere close to 15 to 20% on a higher side. Maybe 750 to 800 could be very much likely in next 2 to 3 months. Overall, the stop loss should be placed around 550 since we have already witnessed the rally. There could be possibility of some sort of profit booking from the high levels. So ideal range for buying should be 580 to 600 with a stop loss of 550 for the upside target of 750 to 800.
Okay, and what's your sense, Brijesh?
See, definitely I'll go with the other analysts, my colleague, what they have said. Present rate or any dip can be used for accumulation purpose. No doubt your stop loss would be a little bit deeper, 520 around. Whereas on the higher side it's been concerned, I am looking stock at least going and touching a level of 713. That is a high which was made in 2007. Chances are that this level might be achieved in a 1 month to a 2 month time frame.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter Container Corp, and Yash is finally back with his second chart, and this time it's on V-Guard Industries. Yash, what does the chart indicate?
So there's a conditional buy coming in on V-Guard, and again this time we are using the proprietary Bloomberg indicator, which is the trender indicator. Now the red line is the trender line, which is placed very close to the current stock price. So the trender line is at the mark of 229. The stock is bang on at 229. Now should it manage to close above that mark in today's day of trade, the trender line, as it has always done, will change its color from red to green, and every time that has happened in the past, on an average 3 out of the last 5 times it has managed to give out returns of well in excess of 6.5%. But that is as far as the action goes on the daily time frame. We thought of taking a look at the weekly charts as well for V-Guard, and interesting thing, the yellow line over here, that is the trend line, and it has managed to respect that trend line. It has not fallen below that mark. So it came very close to these to breaking below the trend line. In fact, on the lows, it did actually come off, but it never closed below that trend line mark. And the purple line over here, that is the 55-week exponential moving average. That is acting as a strong support for the counter. It is taking support over there and has been, looking at making a fresh move on the upside. The RSI too has, formed a bottom around the mark of 40, which is a support zone for the counter. So from the current levels, with the trender possibly indicating a bullish signal and the trend line too acting as a strong support, you could look out for strong gains coming in for V-Guard from here on.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on V-Guard. Brijesh, your sense on V-Guard?
Definitely, I'll go what Yash has said for the buy side. But only thing is that not at the present rate. If it trades somewhere around 220 to 224 band, definitely one can look out to go long with the stop loss of 210. And ideally target which I'm looking is somewhere around 245 to 250.
Okay, Nilesh?
Well, in today's trading session, it has already provided a breakout from its downward sloping trend line. I think one can go long with the stop loss below 215 for the upside target of 245 to 250.
And Raja?
Yeah, I'm in line with them. The charts are definitely indicating bullishness, and even on higher time frames, there is a clear indication of buying side developing. So one could initiate long at current levels, place a stop loss below 220 for an upside towards 250.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the final counter V-Guard. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Let me thank my guests who've come in today. Brijesh, Nilesh and Raja, thank you so much for coming in today. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint.